Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. Welcome back. We're going to be reading the last part of chapter 9. So the rest of the questions and answers in St.Germain, Earth's Birth Changes. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I have collected more than a lifetime's worth of information that I ever thought would be at our fingertips to take in and really, really let it sink in. This is just a lot of really, really valuable and sometimes unbelievable information. But I've really been trying to think on everything after we read it because it is just so much and it is so extraordinary and so outlandish, but at the same time makes absolute sense if that makes sense to you. So let's go ahead and just finish this book up. And I promise the next book, they're going to be shorter. I'm going to be starting an angel series. So I have a book on each angel of the archangels, I should be more specific. And this book is going to teach us how to connect with each one and tap into the reason that they are. So whether they are assisting us for healing, creativity, whatever it is. So each angel or archangel has a purpose. And I'm going to be sharing a book. I think there's 5 or 6 books in the series for each archangel. And I will share a short with you about that with you guys coming up really soon. But something easier to take in and a little more lighthearted and definitely easier to understand straight away. So with that being said, let's go ahead and wrap this book up. All right, so the first question we're starting at. Is there now a religion, so to speak, to better handle ourselves and our feelings? And he says, any religion, as you would term it, is dogmatic. You see, what is religion but rules and regulations about giving your power away? Recognizing divinity within all of you is where the power is. Not only yourself, but all others, yourself included. The religions upon earth have been quite limited for the purpose of having power over your brothers. It was quite a political factor in your past history. It was how to control the people, how to instill within them fear, retribution. Your sinning, as it is called, is where the power lies. The fear of hell, fire, and damnation. It is all a controlling factor. For those things that you experience that would be considered by those dogmatic practices as sin are merely there for you to gain knowledge. You see, you are eternal regardless. The burning you feel that would be a part of your hell is merely your conscious mind battling your divine self. The war rages on much as a fire does. To answer your question, there is no particular religion that would be beneficial. You see, the part of superconsciousness that will allow unlimited, unconditional love and peace between the brethren of your nation, all nations, is the undoing of these dogmatic practices, of the limited concepts they put forth. It is to allow the sovereignty of all, your Soviets, your Americans, your South Americans, your Africans, your Middle Easterners, all sovereign. All are divine. The allowance of that disallows what they have been battling over these centuries in your time, their dogmatic practices. The Middle Eastern countries will take one piece of their dogma and slay hundreds of thousands of men over one little piece of dogma. Releasing all of that limitation releases all nations into freedom, and there will be peace, for they have nothing more to fight about. As far as what you should turn to now, you know the answer to that, my dear. St.Germain, I wanted to ask you about negative energy. And he says, what you consider negative is merely another aspect. Positive is one side, negative is another. Lack of separation is unlimitedness. They are one and the same, experienced and expressed in different manners, much as you and you are one and the same, but opposite expressions of each other. You see, allowing what you consider negative would only mean that it is no longer negative. Consider this. There is one negative person and then one positive person. What happens? The negative person either quietens or quiets up, leaves, or becomes positive. That is the same regardless of attitudes, energies, personages, whatever experiences. It is all the same. Allow it into your life in a positive fashion, and it will turn its tide. You must believe this because your doubts will create other negativity. If you should tell a darker nature to go away, get out of my life. You are telling part of the whole to go away. If you would like to retain the whole, merely tell that part that is darker, I love you. Would you not like to come into this wondrous Eden of mine and be loved forever? And it will dissipate. How is it your man Jesus dealt with the negativity of the political factions against him? He loved them and accepted them. And what did they do after they had slain him? They knelt down and cried and wept and said, truly this man is divine. They turned positive. Now, you do not say to a child, it is all right to destroy this household with your hammer. You tell the child, I love you. I know you have a desire to hammer this household. However, I would prefer that you did not, and I will love you even if you do, although I will occasion this hammering with the back of my hand. But I love you anyway, my little young one. You see, there were many messages within your Bible, however it has been misinterpreted. Spare the rod and spoil the child. Another is, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven except that you become as a little child. That is opening your heart as a child does with wonder and awe and love. The next question. It is also said that it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man through the gates of heaven. And he says, you see, what it means is that in those times, your rich men were the men of your politics, your kings and the men of your church, the priests. They were the ones who desired to limit their brothers. They were the ones who took the power away from the peoples to accumulate more wealth and power for themselves. It was difficult for their conscious mind to release the need for this power. In order to become part of superconsciousness, it is necessary to release the desire and the need for your power over others. Sorry, there's someone at my door, so my dog's going to bark. So it really had nothing to do with money per se, someone asks. It does not. He was speaking of the ones who were rich in those times, who were heavy laden with power hunger, with alter ego. And somebody says, there are lots of those still around. And he says, of course, so it still applies, but not as far as your currency or your gold is concerned. It does not mean that in order to be super conscious, you have to be living in a hovel eating roots. It means you need to release the power hunger over others. And what is the basis for power these days in your time? Money, is it not? So you may have all you desire, mountains full of it, as long as you do not shackle your neighbor. The next question. How would you bring super consciousness down into this consciousness? You do not bring super consciousness down to you. There is a very simple truth. Realize your divinity and automatically your frequency will change. Automatically. Ascensions in your times past have occurred many times. Various masters have ascended. Occasionally, it occurs so quickly that the body disintegrates in heat and a pile of ashes is left behind. It is considered to be spontaneous human combustion, and your frequencies are automatically raised to whatever frequency you desire. However, it is not something you consciously do with your mind. You may raise your frequencies and you will partake of a certain amount of awareness, but you do it by releasing your need to do it and allowing your divinity to come forth. Become humble. Realize humility because you realize the divinity within everything. Your leaves, your petals of your flowers, your ocean, your rain showers, your fishes and your seas. They are all equal to you. They are all divine creatures of love. They give to this universe lovingly. You become one with all of life. Your conscious mind will battle, and that is part of the growing process. You will feel at once significant and master and insignificant as an ant. So he's saying at one moment you'll feel very significant and a master, and the next insignificant and as tiny as an ant, both at the same time. That is godhood, sovereignty, and humility simultaneously. And then someone asks, so there is nothing really too much one can do to meditate and bring the light in your soul down. And he says, of course there is. For enlightenment of your body is always helpful. And you do become aware of certain things. Certain things pop into your consciousness from your experience, your past lifetimes. You will gather to you bit by bit pearls of wisdom. And someone asks, through meditation? And he said, and it need not be cross-legged. You may do it walking, quietly with yourself in alignment. And then someone asks, all right, is there anything in particular specifically that I can be doing that would really help? And he says, I wish you to do this. Become quiet with yourself in a comfortable manner. Allow your energy to disperse into the universe. Encompass it with all of your light. Carry forth your energy to all parts of your galaxy. Consider that as a sovereign, you may create such a galaxy. Also consider that all other beings on this planet are just as sovereign as you are. That will give you the humility. Contemplate it for a while, until the dew from your eyes is apparent on your cheeks. You will know, and then you will know what the work is you have cut out for yourself. It is quite simple, and it is not always easy. Could you talk about soulmates? Someone wants to know. And he says, it is quite a complex subject. There is much chatter about it in these days. Many run around and flit about life anxiously awaiting that one divine entity. They just know that person is it, the one they've been waiting for all their lives. And so they run around checking them out, as you would term it. Is this him? Is this him? Or the other way around? Is this her? Getting the statistics from each individual. Are you married? Da, 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 da. There is much emphasis upon that, and in a manner that is giving your power away. For your life is built upon finding someone else rather than yourself. There are soulmates indeed. Once you have gained a certain amount of enlightenment, you call to you all parts of your soul energies, all parts of your soul family, your oversoul. It is automatic, for the gathering together of your soul energy to you is what enlightens you, and it brings you to illumination, and your body becomes less in mass and more in energy. It lightens in weight and illumination. That is all part of your soul, including your soulmate. You see, your soulmate that has been put forward as one entity that is a male or female, and that there is only one, is true if you look at it in the light that the male or female energy may be embodied in several different personages, both seen and unseen. There is one female energy existent within that soul energy family. It may exist within several different personages, both seen and unseen. It is the gathering together of the male and the female into no sex at all, because there is no differentiation between the genders when enlightenment occurs. It is one. There is no longer separation. You draw to you that particular mate automatically. You may recognize it in one entity as part of a male energy, or vice versa. You may have two male soulmates, or three, or whatever. They are not always manifest on the earth plane. They are not always manifest on any physical plane. You may have one here and one in the Pleiades and one on the inner planes, which are non-physical altogether, but you draw them all to you. For there is only one male or female energy totality that is a part of you. That happens without any effort on your part. You do not need to look for them. They almost fall into your lap. You will look and they will be there, and you will know. You may not consciously be aware of this because your conscious mind may have its barriers, but there will be something special about that entity that draws you to them, and you will discover who they are. The only way this can occur is through self-illumination. The only way is through realizing your own divinity. Your hip-hopping about only pushes it further away from you, for you are giving your power away rather than drawing it to you. Now, when all this is accomplished and the entity is perhaps in another star system or on the inner planes or on this earth, when all have felt a closeness with you, then you may move on into grander illumination. Also consider that your energy, what you would term your soulmate, may not be manifest on this earth at all. The energy may be all dispersed everywhere. So your fervent searching gains you nothing. The only way to find them is to find yourself. Someone was telling me about how you in a previous incarnation would draw energy in through the top of your head instead of eating physical food, someone is saying. And he says, it is not always through the top of one's head. It is throughout your entire system. You see, you gather the energy to run your body with from your atmosphere, from the electromagnetic energy contained within your stratosphere. You need not consume foodstuffs. Your body may operate without a middleman, without processing green plants, the photosynthesis for your fuel. You may partake of that energy directly. And someone says, from the sun then? And he says, not only from the sun, but from all other electromagnetic forces without, not only solar, but all the energy contained within your atmosphere. So would one do this as a conscious attempt coupled with creative imagination? Would that be sufficient, or would you have to have and then their thought kind of trails off. And he says, one does this after the mastery of other things which we have discussed. Your Tibetan masters have accomplished much in this direction. They exist practically without any foodstuffs at all, a few grains of rice here and there in their lifetime. They have spent many other lifetimes realizing that. You see, that is the first step. It is a major step. For the other is fluff. It comes naturally. And then someone asks, would this realization be considered an initiation? And he says, in a manner of speaking, but it is not necessary to label it. Labeling separates. It is all part of divine creation. And someone asks him to speak to them about the animals. Those creatures that you call animals reflect man's consciousness as a mass consciousness. In the days of your time, when your civilization was not quite so technology-oriented, not quite so organized as it were, your beasts were more savage. The animals of your time have always reflected man's consciousness as a whole, and the ones you keep near you in your home reflect your own consciousness. They are mirrors of you, or for you. They have a certain amount of consciousness of their own, but they have decided in their own sovereign right that they are desirous of providing this service of being that mirror for you, to you. The ones who can best serve you are attracted to you and you to them. You learn from them as you do from your children. And then someone says, some people say we come back in that form. Is that possible also? So I guess that, is it possible to come back as an animal? Merely as a fragment of your original soul energy, not as the soul energy you perceive to be human soul energy. For there are other fragments that are first and second densities. Recall we spoke of third and fourth. The first and second density are of the animal kingdom and are fragments of the energy that is part of the soul family, the oversoul. It is a consciousness that provides a service as your canines and your felines do. That consciousness, when it terminates its particular existence, returns to the soul unit, remerges, and then may be a part of human consciousness, but at an entirely different level. One cannot reincarnate, as you would term it to be, as an animal. It does not work that way. But your animal instincts, those tendencies of yourselves that are uncontrolled, are the part within your soul that has been, in its past, a fragment of an animal. But it is only a fragment, a minute fragment. That goes to make up the whole of the divine soul that you are. Do not confuse it with being in another life as an animal. And somebody's asking, where do devas fit in? D-E-V-A-S. And I'm not sure exactly what that is. They are of a different kingdom. If someone knows what that is, will you let me know? I may look it up and put it in my comments, but I'm not sure what that is. Oh, it says it right here. The Deva kingdom, the angelic kingdom. They are of an energy source that is of divine creative force that you call the source. That also has its purpose, its desire, and its own divinity. It may occasionally incarnate in human physical form. However, that is not very common. Most of your angelic kingdom, including archangels, continue into eternity as archangels, and they are part of divine creation, as is their choice in that manner. They are not, if you would use the limited term, evolving. They are already part of the divine creative force that you call the source. They are already in enlightenment and wisdom. That is why they are not physical. The elementals are merely consciousness that are part of the universe. It is your fire, your air, your water. It is all consciousness. It is life. It is part of the universe made manifest, much as the stars and your other heavenly bodies. It is another manifestation. Very interesting, because we're going to read about archangels next. And the purpose they serve, someone asks. The elementals are merely a consciousness exhibiting itself in whatever form they desire. They are also capable of manifesting themselves, if they desire to, as a planet or a star or whatever. The Deva Kingdom provides the service as guidance and protectors and inspiration and companions. That is their choice to do this service. They, from time to time, do incarnate. It is not very common, for the forces upon your earth plane are repellent to them. They are persecuted because of their nature, because of their unconditional love and protective nature. So they do not exist for very long at a time. They occasionally take on a body to perform a service temporarily, much as walk-ins do. But to be born into the earth plane as other humans, they are persecuted. Someone wants to know, what was the purpose of Stonehenge? Was that just a reminder? And he says, it was a landing base for the craft that were here to help civilization at that time. The civilization that used that as a landing base at that time is now far advanced beyond those particular propulsion systems. They no longer travel in that manner. They were using craft at that time that they used an energy similar to atomic energy, however, not completely like in nature. And now they travel through teleportation. They instantaneously are where they desire to be without craft. Could they adapt to the environment? Could they adapt to the environment? If you are a god. You see, this particular civilization has come to the point where they are in divine inspiration. They are in super consciousness. And you yourselves, when you become part of that world, will be able to travel whenever and wherever you choose, without your craft, without your automobiles or your jet craft or spacecraft. That is what Sai Baba did in a limited fashion, being in more places than one at a time. You may do this in a more unlimited fashion. And someone asks, is that the same as astral projection? And he says, astral projection is projecting part of your consciousness to another place in time with your body remaining. What I speak of is your body being with you. Astral projection is allowing yourself into your godhood, into super consciousness. And if you would term it so, indeed it is a start. It is very wondrous and good for you to experience this, to give you a taste of things to come. And someone says, you spoke of walk-ins. Could you explain about that? That is a divine entity from another place, perhaps another universe, who desires to partake of the earth plane for a particular reason. Perhaps guidance, perhaps arrangement of political governments, your laws, your regulations. It is by mutual consent between two entities. That is the entity upon the earth plane and the entity that is not of the earth plane. The allowance of the one that is of the earth plane to allow his or her body to be used for the consciousness of the other entity. During that period of time, whatever is to be accomplished is accomplished, and then the walk-in entity returns to his home, if you would term it to be home, and the entity of the earth retains his or her consciousness that was before. It is stamped, as you would term it to be, mission accomplished. However, it is by mutual consent, much as you are witnessing at this time, and he's referencing to Azina regarding St.Germain. It is for a reason, a grand design, and it is becoming more prevalent on Earth, for your entities of other universes are making themselves known on your Earth plane, because it is ready, it is ripe. Earth humans are not so fearful as they once were. They are realizing that their brothers will not attack them, that they are here to help them. And the next thought here. I thought that the original entity, when they made the switch, no longer wanted to take on the experience of, and then they trail off. And here's St. Germain's continuation of that. There have been occasions when the entity that had possession of the body in the first place desires not to return, for they have experienced worlds far more grand than the one they had inhabited before. That is not often, but it does occur. Can you speak to us of Bartholomew, someone asks. Bartholomew is a grand entity. He is another teacher. He is and has been on this earth plane in many incarnations that are considered significant in your history. Kutumi in your mystical readings is an oversoul of that entity. He is one of the Great White Brotherhood. That is a gathering of masters, of entities who choose to become part of the earth plane in teaching and sharing during this time, to bring all of the earth into super consciousness, to love them into their grander selves and into enlightenment. It is merely an assemblage of all of us entities that are here to hold your hands. That is why I say we are more than this one you call St. Germain speaking to you. I am the mouthpiece. They are also consciousnesses that are upon this earth plane, taking whatever forms and fashions which best serve the purpose. St. Germain, what and where is Shambhala? Shambhala is the planetary term one uses for this planet Earth. Shambhala is Terra's name in fourth density, in superconsciousness. I read an undesire to dissipate from here, but it is of the ripeness of time. The grapevine of your consciousness is heavy for the plucking. Understand that I am always with you. So I think he is saying his time is up, that this is what he's getting. He has an undesire. He's not desiring to leave, but it's time. I'm actually sad. I'm ready to cry almost. It feels like, I don't know why. He says, understand that I am always with you. I am that I am, and you are that I am, and always. It coexists together, and I shall come unto you as a brother in communion, fellowship, and in delight of your experience and sharing. Not as your teacher, you are your teacher. Not as your guide, you are your guide. And not as your guru, you are your guru. But as the lover of you that will allow love back unto yourselves. Understand always, my beloveds, that I am your mirror. And as another would come unto you and express an appreciation unto you, always, always, always tell them, I am your mirror. So fare thee well for now. You do bless me, beloveds, and you are God. It has been a grand and fairy tale experience, finger-painted by the hand of God that is you. Allow yourself to laugh with yourself. There are no such things as mistakes, no such things as errors. Perhaps misvibrations, but not to be judged. It has been grand this evening in your time. There are many hearts that are full. Questions have been answered, but it only raised more questions. That is good. Your soul will answer them for you. Thank you, my dear brothers and sisters. It is always my honor. I am always pleased to partake of this plane. It is a grand and wondrous place indeed. I will see many of your faces again, but it is not your faces I look forward to. It is your light. Oh, it is magnificent. Good evening. Wow, that was a really great book. There's some more back here that I think are going to be of the same understanding. So not by a particular author, written from an author, but collections. There's called God I Am. And this is also a compilation. I think it says written by Peter O'Erb. And so maybe this is a collection of just his own work. And then another one called An Act of Faith, Transmissions from the Pleiades, channeled by Janny King. It's another really interesting one that I'd like to learn more about. What a beautiful book this was. What a challenge for the soul. and for the heart and for the mind. This definitely was not one of the easiest books that we've read, but it really did bring a lot of joy and peace to my heart and a lot for me to take in. And I hope it did the same for you. So we are now finished reading this beautiful Earth's Birth Changes. Like I said, I feel like I learned a lifetime's worth of information, or remembered perhaps, in this book. And I wonder if it resonated with me to read it to myself and to whoever is listening, because it is something that you needed to hear, something that you needed to remember. There are no coincidences. All synchronicities, everything happening the way that they're meant to. So if you took the time to listen to these longer videos and to listen to them all the way through and to listen to my voice, because I annoy myself sometimes, I appreciate it. And it is a mirror of you. That's exactly what it is what you needed to hear, is what I needed to hear, what we both needed to hear. So thank you once again for joining me. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't done that already, please consider doing that. It's never mattered to me how many subscribers I have or how many comments or likes I get. I don't care about that. I just hope that what I share reaches anybody who needs it or wants it. And that's really just my goal with these videos that I love making for you all. So I will see you soon with a short, and I will introduce our next book, which we are going to talk about archangelology, or just the archangels. We're going to learn more about how they can assist us here on this planet to enrich our lives and have relationships with them. So if that resonates with you, I will be doing one archangel at a time. I have a book on each one, all by the same author, and the focus is going to be solely on that archangel. So if there's one that resonates with you, just look for those books. They're pretty easy to read, so I don't anticipate that they're going to be timely like this one, but that's okay. We have a little bit of everything on this channel. So until next time, please take care of yourself. Please take care of those around you. Send your light out wherever you go before you go there. Ask for all negativity to be removed. Bless any negativity. Bless any judgment. Live in peace. Be the peace that you want to have in the world. Be the harmony. Be the love. That's all you can do at the end of the day anyways. It's all up to you as an individual to affect so many. So until next time, stay blessed, stay safe, stay in gratitude. I love you all. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.